Kia ora, good afternoon. I want to talk about something, and I've kind of talked about it, but I don't really go into it, but I do talk about it. I have mentioned it before, but one of the things that I think people don't know about me, or maybe they do, I don't know, other than the fact that I love my science and doing my investigations and delving into the unsolved mysteries and the folklores and mythologies and that, I kind of have a bit of an interest in the Sam Squanches, the Bigfoots and Yetis and Yowies and abominable snowmen and all of that. I do believe that they are real, but I don't think that they are anything like they are portrayed, and they're certainly not anything that we're catching on video. They are the guardians of the forest, like the Tata Duende in the Dominican, like the Leshis in the Slavic territories. They're like nature deities. And they don't hunt deer and rip them apart. They're probably the most least aggressive creatures on the planet. They're healers. They're exceptionally telepathic. They know we're coming hours before we even turn up. So they're masters of camouflage, and they're just, I believe they are connected to the quote-unquote missing link. As an evolutionary theorist, I've been able to link sightings and all of that, like all the way to Greenland and Alaska, and they seem to be everywhere. I don't recall any Māori mythology, but I know in Australia they have the Yowie. So with so many cultures around the world having pretty much the same kind of version, it can't be a coincidence. Science isn't a coincidence. There's no coincidence in science, especially things like biology and genetics. And I don't want to, I've been saying about when I make my shows, when I get out of here and I've got the money to fund this little project of mine, I want to get a GoPro to put on my head, and I'll hit record every time, stuff is about to happen or I'm being me, because I think if people see that I don't make any of this up, and that how I go about all of this stuff is so normal and natural, it's not even funny, but that everything that I talk about happening to me actually happens. And it's like my life is like a Hollywood movie, but which one? Pick a category. So, I'm basically just turning my life and the people that inspired my life and all of that into these little projects and that for the kids to make, because it's not about winning awards or anything like that. It's giving them schoolwork. It's just, if they're wanting to get into movies or music or design or cooking or anything like that, it's preparing them for the real world. Seeing if this is something they want to pursue or not. Would they be wasting their time? There's a lot of kids out there that have these dreams of being this, that and the other, but then they might come to us and have a go and think, actually, you know what, I think I want to be a lawyer or a doctor or an air hostess or a pilot or something. On the other hand, we're going to have kids that come and step into their purpose. And then we're going to have kids that come who are coming for one thing who end up finding their purpose in something else. And all they have to do is just make a video game, make some TV shows, make some movies, make some costumes, food, whatever, all based around what it is that I'm creating. So everything that I'm writing and creating is schoolwork for the kids, with my staff and that, with the mentors being obviously their teachers. So why not have fun while I'm doing it, while I get to make these shows in there? And one of the things that I want to do when I'm putting my GoPro on my head, and I've got a couple of people with me with, sound and editing and safety and cameras and all of that, looking different angles, because I don't want the cameras necessarily focused on me. I want you to more focus on my GoPro and then bring the other camera's views into it if something interesting happens. They can be like my side blinding team. I can stay focused on what's ahead, because my life needs to be seen to be believed. So it's like, well, why not, if I'm going to be out there anyway? Because one of the things that my nephew and his missus are going to do when I go to Queensland is they're going to take me out to Yowie territory. And I don't want to do anything that's proving that they're real, because I don't need to know that they're real. I know that they're real. The reason why I want to document it and go to the places where they exist is I want to take offerings out to them. I want to put offerings out for them and just leave them alone, because they're guarding the forests. And a lot of our corrupt governments are chopping these forests down at an alarming rate. And something needs to be done. So if I can show people how to respect their gods, because they're like nature deities, if you take offerings to the forest and that, then maybe the gods will help, because we can't have them chopping all these trees down, and the pesticides with the bees and that, we can't be having that. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing with my GoPro, and you're going to see my life from really personal angles, like, how I communicate with nature, and I'm going to show you how I do it, because I need to reawaken the spirit of the people whose ancestors lived and breathed the soul of their land. It doesn't matter where you're from. We all came from people that had to be the first there somewhere, but it wasn't too long ago when even normal, average, everyday people were taking food out to the forests and things like that, to say thank you for picking the stuff that they were going to be turning into herbs and medicines and that. So that was only a few grandmothers ago, and we need to tap back into that. And so one of the things I want to do is I want to reintroduce everybody to their ancestral gods and deities and protectors of the lands, and get you all reconnected again, show you how beautiful that connection is from an Indigenous perspective, and like reawaken that in everybody, because then when they remember how beautiful that connection is to nature, they'll be more demanding with their governments to protect it. Because see what Donald Trump is about to do is just evil, like with the Amazon, how they knocked down all those trees to make a road for some stupid, what was it, UN meeting or NATO, like absolutely abhorrent. Like, we can't be allowing this to happen anymore. And if I can wake everybody up and say, do you remember this? Or, you know, if you watch anything that I put out when I'm making offerings to the animals, because I'm going to have like animal totem products and oils, I'm making a whole range of animal totem oils that you can burn, because everybody's got their primary totems and their, you know, their core totems and their protectors and their ancestral totems and all of that. So instead of going to a doctor or getting therapy online or talking to chatbots and that, like go and sit under a tree and throw some seeds out to the birds. Because you'll be amazed what it can do. If you do that every day, every time you just need it, just go and throw some seeds out to the birds. Or crackers, not bread, never bread, never ever ever give ducks and swans and that bread, don't. Crackers and that are fine, biscuits, cookies and that are fine, but never bread. Don't ever give bread to a swan or a duck. But I'm gonna basically be opening the doors and showing you like how I do offerings in my home, and then it if it awakens anything in you, then you can do it too. Because nature can't speak for itself. Nature has nothing speaking up for it. So, you know, we're the grandchildren of Mother Earth. We're all the grandchildren, so we have to take care of this problem. So if I can put it out there and say, look, this is how you really deal with a Yeti or a Sam's Granch or a Bigfoot or whatever, you never know what might happen. They're very magical. They are probably the greatest healers on the planet. The reason why we know so much about healing with herbs and stuff is because of creatures like that, beings like that. And I really do believe that they have some connection to the missing link. They're a missing link somewhere, a missing genetic link somewhere. But they have to be protected because they're such pure creatures, because they are basically like, they just like one touch and you're healed sort of thing. They can, like with the deer that get shot in that, they can heal the deer just by touching them. It's if there's any proof to it, I'm going to find proof, because I've seen stories where people have said that they've seen, you know, oh, I shot the deer and, you know, I could have sworn it was like, you know, a clean kill, and then I saw this thing come out and touch it on the neck and the deer got up and ran away, and where I'd shot it, you know, it was healed and blah, blah, blah. There's stories like that all over the place, where people have been in really dire situations, even kids that have gone missing in the forests, and they've spoken about these creatures and that they've come and protected them and led them back on the path to where the search and rescue were and stuff like that. That's what I want to promote, and like just leave them alone and leave offerings and pay our respects and let them know that the grandchildren are grateful that they're there, risking everything to keep the planets alive, keep the trees and the forests and that alive. And we have to do something about it, which is one of the reasons why I want to learn to do photography, because I want to take photos on my travels and put them up in my little art gallery to promote like conservation, animal conservation and planet conservation. I can do so much, and then with my money as well, I can invest in like buying up land and planting trees and saving, getting laws changed about deforestation and starting to like encourage countries and that to clean up their waterways and yeah, so I want to learn how to do photography so that I can have like my own little corner in my store where it's about animal conservation and like we'll have like an animal of the month and all of that, and we'll promote the oils and the totem products and the food because we make Ghibli's Gourmet Goodies. We make offerings for like carnivorous birds and stuff like that, so you can take them out and throw them out, and like crows and any of the corvids and like falcons and eagles and all that can eat it. But then also like if you're in countries where they have like bears and raccoons, and it's for basically carnivorous animals. But I also do like like bird balls and all of that. So we'll have like a whole range of different products to promote the animal conservation, and then I want to invest in or help, if I can't do my own, for the protection of coyotes and wolves and bears especially. So, and try and get like, to ban hunting and all of that. So yeah, put my money into that. I want to be philanthropic for the kids and animals and nature. So if I put a GoPro on my head and I let you see my life, then you'll understand why I had to turn it all into TVs and movies. And I mean, obviously I've used a lot of artistic license, but if you're all following my story, you get the idea. I've been saying for like 10 years, we need to put a GoPro on my head. Even like my friend, an old friend of mine in North Carolina used to say, we need to put a GoPro on your head. Because like my life needs to be seen to be believed. I really do have that connection with animals and nature. I really can read the seasons, but so can all of you. You've just forgotten how. So I'm going to reawaken that in all of you, resurrect your ancestral souls and tap you back in so that you can see life from a different perspective, see nature from a different perspective. And then maybe we can do something about protecting them. We can't let things like this be taken down because of corporate greed and Antichrist dominance. It would be creating hell on earth, and that would be over God's dead body. So we have to things like yetis, Sam Squamches, whatever you want to call them. They're like God's byproduct. They're like representatives of God on earth, but they have specific jobs. You know how like you have Michael and Raphael and all of that, how they all have different things that they're the angels of? Well, it's the same thing here on earth. Indigenous people, we had tree gods and bird gods and river gods and all sorts of gods, volcano gods and air gods and night gods and day gods and so they're representatives. They're like a byproduct of atom of the that which created the entire universe. So we need to be paying our respects, and that's what I do, and in return I get respect back. So I'm a byproduct of Mother Earth. I'm her granddaughter. All Indigenous people are the grandchildren of Mother Earth. In my language, we call her Papatūānuku. So, I'll put a GoPro on my head and I'm going to introduce you to my grandma. I can't wait. And yeah, so whatever they have whatever mythological creatures and that, but I have a special place in my heart for I don't like calling them Bigfoots. It's, I don't even like calling them Yeti and Sasquatches and that. I just see them as being like ancestors of the orangutan. You know, the old men and old ladies of the forest. There's some sort of connection there because orangutan totem is the exact identical to the Yeti totem. They they mean the exact same thing. The nurses, the doctors, the healers of the forest, the guardians of the forest. But they rule like nursing and healing. They're like nature's doctors and nurses. Exact same thing. And we treat them like crap. So orangutans was one of the things that I wanted to get into with the protection of and that as well. So I've got ways of doing it where the villagers who get pissed off by it or can actually make money from it, if they just left them alone and actually fed them and that, they'd actually make money. So, I figured out a way to do it. But yeah, I'm going to put my money to good use. I'm the guardian of the three keys: earth, children, and animals. So, yeah, I'm going to show you how to do it. Unlock it in you. And then we can all work together to make sure that few people touch this planet as possible. And then it gives us the opportunity to clean it up the right way without destroying it with solar panels and the wind crap. Because that's the reason why we're having all this, the whales and dolphins and all, why they're acting so strange is because of the wind, what do you call them? The wind thingies that they put up, the wind generator things that they put up. It's messing with their compass. Like so I got to do my thing. But I need help because I'm one person and they keep trying to kill me for some reason. Oh, I'm just kidding. They wouldn't dare touch me now. They're terrified of me. They probably should be as well. They tried to put on like this whole Storm Benjamin thing, and I was like, nah. And then like Storm Benjamin just kind of went. It was so funny. So, but I can show you all this sort of stuff. This is what I'm talking about. The stuff that I write, the stuff that I tell you about on my social medias and all that, I'll be able to prove that it's real, that I'm not making any of it up. But, like I said, if you all start doing it too, then you'll have that connection with the planet that I have, because it will reawaken that part of your genetic ancestry, where your ancestors, your original ancestors, and that remembered when our planet had tree gods and bird gods and river gods and lava gods, and not where they made the sacrifices, but where they made, like like First Nations people, if they had to hunt a buffalo, they gave offerings, and then gave thanks, and then they made sure that they used every part of the buffalo or the bison to show that their sacrifice wouldn't go to waste, like that sort of thing. So yeah, I want to travel around and I want to draw Indigenous people out. I want to get people out telling their stories of their folklores and mythologies, and that we'll go and investigate some of them. Some of them might be spooky, but some of them will be fun, because I know that when I do the Yeti one, we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. And I'll do some Yowie stuff when I'm in Australia, and then when I go to Eastern Europe and all of that, I can do like the Leshy and that, and tie it into like a whole episode of like how I did a thing going around. So I'd love to obviously go to America and that, but they're never going to let me in. So I'll probably will more than likely be on a uh, airport watch list. Who, me? little old me? How powerful is my wand? Anyway, so right, so I'm going to go make myself a coffee. I think I'm going to have an early dinner. So yeah, so I want to do a Bigfoot Sasquatch Yeti thing. I'm going to get a GoPro on my head and I'm going to show you how I do what I do so that you can learn how to do it too. Obviously, I'm not going to show you any of the alchemy stuff, but like, you know, when I'm doing stuff with animals and nature and that, absolutely, when I'm dealing with people, when I'm using my gift and doing my predictions and all of that sort of thing, absolutely. But none of the alchemy stuff. So, because you need to be a master. And none of you fellas are masters. I'm the master. I only just earned my friggin' cap and gown, thank you very much. So I've graduated. I've graduated from the University of Life. I got a bachelor's. What's higher, a bachelor's or a master's? Bachelor's, isn't it? Oh, I'm like Dr. Debbie. Dr. Sue Debbie. Okay, I'm going to go now. I shall speak to you later, but yeah, I'm getting excited because it's like, why not? If I can do it, why not? Until I can find a place to call home and that, why not, eh? And then I can just get everything in place behind the scenes so that once I do find a place to call home, I'll hit the ground running, get listings and, you know, figure out where I'm going to build and all of that. So it's getting very exciting. So yes, I'm going to do not an expose on the Yeti, but it's not, is it an expose? I mean, yeah. Anyway, from an Indigenous perspective, it's going to be fun. I can't wait. So, and I want to do it with lots of things as well, obviously, not just that, not just like the forest guardians and that. I want to do all sorts of um, investigations and storylines and that into other mythological creatures and all of that, because it's exciting. And I can take advantage of it at Halloween too. Okay, so I'm going to go now. I shall speak to you later. Ka kite anō. Mwah.